Welcome to the journey. I'm your host, Corey, and you're listening on Oneness Talk Radio. What a beautiful day it is to be alive. Adjust my screen a little bit here. Sorry about that. Hope you're all doing well today. And today we are talking about surrendering to love. Just letting it all go. Surrendering to love. That's a powerful thing to do, and it takes some focus and some trust. And we're going to talk about the heart chakra a little bit today, and that's that place of stillness, that place of trusting your unfolding of your divine love and just really reconnecting with all that you are. And so welcome, surrendering to love, and the art of it's really an art of surrendering to love and to letting go of the need to control is a big deal that I've been seeing a lot of this week in myself and people around me and clients and such. And so that's a big deal, is like releasing the need to control. Because as we've all found ourselves in the rebirthing process into the density vibration, the me focus, it's the densified world that we're all born into, where it's about the me and the competition, and there's lots of fear and anxiety, and we've all had to be born into that and build our wisdom and connections and the ability to be there in that space and to lift, which takes a tremendous amount of courage and self-trust, perseverance. I could name a lot of other things, as we all know, as you're tuning into the show here today and other shows and other topics, especially involving in self-ascension and sustainability. And, it takes a lot of courage, and we're living in, or having our bodies in the third dimension. And, there's a lot of forces that would want to stop the lift and these moves towards sustainability. And you have a lot of things in place that have been around for so long and want to keep it that way. And so the best we can do is focus on ourselves and really working on our love and loving our neighbor and trusting that all is unfolding as it should. Surrendering to love is a big deal. It's really the art of surrendering to love. And like I said, we've all been born into the density vibration. And as we move up through the different levels and into that divine consciousness, that the upper levels of really trusting and being more in the light body, and we're always with the soul and the soul energy. We just have our attention in other areas, especially being born into the world of density and all the programming that comes through our parents and societal norms and the fear, shame, and guilt associated with those more dense levels of consciousness. And we get the absolute gift to really be in that energy, move through it, and it really takes commitment and focus, to really move through that. And so really it's a school of consciousness being on the earth, having the opportunity and everybody's awake. And what are they awake to, and what are we awake to, and what are you awake to? And so we get to make that choice, and that's a beautiful thing. And that's something that I work on a lot, is just seeing the world as perfect as it is, and a great school, to have everything available, right? It's all there, and having it all available and knowing it's all there for each individual to have their experience and not trying to control everybody else's experience. And so my goal is to offer energy and vibration and content that has to do with freeing ourselves to be in that high frequency and having the opportunity. And I just want to be one of the voices out there that's helping folks lift. And I know I've had lots of help myself from many. And it takes commitment, it takes focus, and continually to say yes, 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 and continually saying yes. And sometimes that can be challenging in a world where the fear and the different vibrations that come through are designed to hold you into the third dimension. And so sometimes we have to know the rules to break the rules. That's something that's been coming up for me lately, and to break them properly, and do it with consciousness and love. And as long as you're here, you're not hurting anyone. That's what's so beautiful about being anchored in the heart chakra, is that you can be in this place, and the best will unfold as you are in that loving frequency of your wonderful heart chakra. And so today, talking about a little bit about, surrendering to love, the art of surrendering to love, or the art of self-ascension, or the art of self-realization. These are different, schools and processes that we can do to really free ourselves to be able to engage in that love vibration, that surrender, because it really is a surrender. It's a melting into, it's because when we're in the density, and we and our focus is there, we're holding on, we're holding on tight. There's this rigidness. There's this what's a good word for it? It's a stiffness. It's a rigidness. It's a holding on to the way it is. It's the molecules that have slowed down, like a piece of wood or something. And, I remember having these dreams when I had the flu a long time ago, and I dreamt all night of being this piece of wood, and I felt so dense, and I felt so and it was such a profound experience I'll never forget. And coming out of that flu, that energy that I needed to have that experience in order to release the energy that I was experiencing. And I believe that's what happens with the flu and these different colds and different things that come through, is it's an opportunity, especially if we are not practicing energies of light and tools of light and things like that, then things will come through that will help us release things. And so maybe we're not conscious of that. But as I look back, I realized that that was what was happening for me at that time, because I wasn't really awake to the energy of meditation and plant medicine and eating differently and doing all these things that can help us lift to the sky and still have feet on the ground, but lifting into the higher, try not to use the word higher, but there's only so many words we can use. and being is probably the best word. Being in the frequency of the ascension of the Elohim frequencies. Yeah. And so the lighter vibrations, the ones that aren't so dense, and I've had my share of the dense, and it's a journey, and it's fun to be working with the higher frequencies and watching some of that bliss unfold. And so it's just that, it's kind of like that child inside, that's right there, and excited about things, excited about the lift, excited about what's happening on our planet here, and so anyways, talking today once again about really a release, a surrender, a melting into the love vibration of your soul, the loving vibration of the divine essence of all that is. And so, each week I like to share a little bit, and I'm going to kind of get into the heart chakra a little bit, and maybe a little bit of third chakra. I did a little bit of third chakra last week because there's been so much of that control energy, that energy that wants to hold on or control. And so that's been coming up a lot. And I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I talked a little bit about the third chakra. And today we're going to talk mostly about the heart chakra and a little bit of the third chakra. And before I do so, I wanted to just share a little stillness moment. And this really has to do with surrender. Each week I like to talk about what I call the stillness moment. And this is basically, could be an aha. It could be a moment where you're out in nature and everything is just quiet. You're noticing the breeze, you're noticing the bugs and the butterflies and the ants on the ground. This is what I call a stillness moment. And it's very meditative. It's oftentimes just happens. And I've talked to people that have had experiences like I've had, where it's just like everything just stops, everything just stops, almost like a movie that's on pause, and this whole other reality unfolds. And it's kind of like the overlapping of energies, right? The overlapping of paradigms and frequencies and dimensions, because we're all overlaid, right? Overlaid. And that's what's so amazing about it. And that's when the mind gets a little bit of trouble in understanding. But anyway, so back to the stillness moment. Each week, I like to talk about something that I've experienced that is related to ascension or renewable and sustainable living. And excuse me. And this last week, and we had this amazing lunar eclipse, right? I mean, and you can't see it everywhere in the world. And we were lucky enough to be in the middle of the Pacific Ocean in Hawaii on the Big Island, where we could get a full view of this total lunar eclipse. And so for those of you that know us, or my beloved Bria and I have moved from Ecuador into the Big Island of Hawaii and are settling in quite nicely over here and enjoying the aloha spirit and so much more. And so we had the opportunity the other night, as we all did, to experience the energy of this full lunar eclipse. And so relating to kind of the subject today about surrendering to love, and it was really about that. It was really about a surrender, and releasing control was part of it for me. I tend to get a little bit rigid sometimes and just, want to just, I got to do everything perfectly and, and all this. So surrendering to love, right? And so I end up that night, we were preparing. We knew the lunar eclipse was coming. We knew that we were going to have full view of it. So I was super excited about that, because the last couple that came through, I couldn't see them in the time zone, or the slice of the earth that I was on was not able to see it. And not that we have to see it, but it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to have the visual and do some moon gazing, and do your moon gazing and let that void come in and let that eclipse come in, and everything kind of gets just different and the energy shifts, and it's really fun. So anyway, I'm chasing this lunar eclipse, and knowing and preparing for it, I set up a grid in the yard with crystals and pyramids, and got a few things ready, and wanted to do just right, and so we're up here on the northern tip of the Big Island, where we have these trade winds that come in, and they can change the weather at any time. So it's kind of but usually you can just go somewhere else. If you really need to, you can just go somewhere else and get to where the skies are clear, because you have different sides of the island that tend to be more like the desert, where it's going to be more likely to be clear. So anyways, so there we are. I got all set up and everything, and got out there and noticed, oh my gosh, the clouds are coming in. There's the clouds. Oh no. And so we watched it for a little while with the clouds, and I just decided, hey, let's go drive to where we can see it, and I got a little uptight and was really excited and really wanted to see it, and didn't want to have the clouds there. And so we got in the car and grabbed our stuff and drove down the coast and looking for clear skies. And everywhere we went, we were running into clouds. And but we did find a spot, and with a little bit of opening, and watched it for a while, and then that ended up clouding up. So long story short, we ended up coming back to where we're living, and ended up being in a great spot to watch it. And the clouds were there for a while, and then right before the eclipse happened, the sky just completely cleared. I mean, it was just like this hole that opened up, and it was amazing. It was really, really amazing. And watching it open, and watching and enjoying and feeling the energy of the way I experienced it was like this tunnel of energy, and I could see all these particles of light coming in and coming towards me, and having these different visions and feelings and energy shifts within me, and just really just feeling that and soaking that up. And we both worked on our intentions and brought forward a little bit of you can call it a little mini ceremony. And so we had a great moment. But what I learned around it was, one of the things is just sometimes you just need to just relax and release and surrender to love, and try not to control everything. And just because the old way, let's face it, you have to control everything, especially if you've had events in your life, especially when you're younger, where you felt like you had no control, and you felt like you had to take control. You had to take control of your life, and in order to experience what you want to experience. And so, as we grow up, and we have our own life, some of that needs to be relaxed. And that's true for me and many that I know. And so, yes, there we were at that full lunar eclipse, and having our experiences, and it was really amazing. And here we are on the other side of it. And today is really towards the end of the month here in May, and it's been a most powerful month. We're on the May 30th, right? 2021 here. Sometimes I forget what year it is. I like when that happens, actually, because it's kind of fun. So yeah, we're here on the 30th, and we're really in that Trinity energy, right? Because the 30th is the 3 plus the 0. So it's that origination of wholeness, that infinite energy of the Trinity and the wholeness within. And so that's today. And I really feel like today is kind of like this launching pad for the next 3 months. And listening to Sri Ramka and Master Lady Kira Ra and them talking about, June, July, and August. And really is that it's truly a trinity of energy. And I see it as this powerhouse and a real powerhouse. And so it's good to practice surrendering to love because we don't have control of what's happening in the outside world. We do have our own ability to manifest and project out our own reality into the layers of the onion, basically, of all these other beautiful beings co-creating together. But surrendering to love is so important because then we can be in the space where we can manifest the dreams and things that we would like to experience. So yeah, look at us here on the 30th of May. And so I was doing a little bit of the ascended numerology, just kind of looking at today a little bit just to see what was going on for this beautiful Sunday. And so I took the 5, which is May 5th, and the 30th, and then the 2021, and basically came up the final number in ascended numerology. You add up the numbers and you come to numbers between 0 and 12. And so basically we came to today, as I added up the numbers, we came to a 13. And 13 is really that sacred number. It's the sacred sequence in ascended numerology. There's a lot going on with the 13. As you know, some people believe it's bad luck. You go to some hotels where they just leave the 13 out because there's a superstition that there's something wrong with 13. And so this 13 is a really powerful number. It's in the Hindi traditions that basically is belonging. You belong to God and the goddess and the creation. It's really about that feminine, that sacred feminine goddess. It's really about your intuitive side. So here we are in surrendering into that goddess energy, that heart chakra energy, that love, that nurturing, trusting ourselves. And this sacred 13 pops up for us. And then in numerology, instead of numerology, our final number is going to be somewhere between 0 and 12, even though the 13 showed up, which is the full encompassment of the whole ascended numerology chart. It's like that soul energy. And then the oversoul energy. And then I took the 13, which is the 1 plus the 3, and we came to the 4. And the 4 is the still center of balance. And the still center of balance is that perfect equilateral cross. I'm actually wearing one today, if you can see that. It's that equilateral cross, the perfect still center of balance, the 4 directions. It's really that heart space as well. It's that, when we place a hand on the heart and take in a deep breath and let it out. Wow, there's the balance. There's that equilateral energy that, just right there, just boom, takes you right there, right? And so, so we're in that 4 energy and that still center of balance. And so here we are. We can claim our balance right now as we launch into the next 3 months of this powerhouse of energy that's coming our way. And so if we can be in that harmony and that surrender to love, it's amazing what we can do with that and manifest our dreams and make it our reality, which is a really fun thing to do. And the other thing, I was just kind of looking at the 13 a little bit, and it talks a little bit about, like the and the angels and that over energy of the soul, and trusting that when you're in balance and harmony, that is the 13, and then the 4 is that still center of balance. And so really claiming this energy means the peace is yours to claim right now in this moment. Claim your peace, claim your harmony. It's that moment. And so, so we have this launch pad. We've had this beautiful full lunar eclipse. And here we are at this trinity of origination and then still center of balance. And so there's all these energies that are really helping us move into where the energy just amplifies and amplifies and amplifies. And so what are we amplifying? What's inside? And it's better to realize what's happening, within us, and do our practices and do the releasing energy. That way, when the energy is amplified, then we can amplify what it is we want to create, rather than maybe some of the stuff from the past. And it's okay if some of the stuff from the past comes up. Of course, we'll grade it. It will amplify and show it into our screen, so to say, so we can work with it, right? So we can see it. Because I noticed that's for me. On the journey of the last 2 months, a lot of things came up that I didn't know were there. They were just popping up, and being with my beloved, that always helps, help you find your areas that you need healing and so on. And so let it come up and let it release and surrender to love. And remember, as we place our hand on our heart, that is where we can really dissipate any energy of fear and shame and guilt. This is the place that circulates the joy to our entire body. And so working with the heart is a powerful thing to do. And it's so simple. It's, you could be doing anything, and just put a hand to the heart and taking a deep breath and let it out with maybe a little bit of sound and tone, and just melt into you, right? That's how we do it. Yeah. And so talking more about what's been happening, surrendering to love is kind of the topic here today. I mean, there's a lot other things going on. And so really, I just want to talk about surrendering to love. And the heart chakra really is that love center, right? It's that unconditional love, especially if you're in that unconditional love for yourself, then you can really be in that unconditional love for everything. And the heart chakra is all about claiming your birthright and your return to the ascended state. It's the ignition point for the ascended state. It's kind of like that rocket fuel that's there, that love gates into the divine and the Elohimian experience. And so working with that heart chakra can be a really powerful experience. And, in the traditional chakras, you have the base chakra, at the base of the spine, that first chakra, and then right around the belly button, second, and then third, and the abdomen area. And so traditionally it'd be the fourth chakra. Which is interesting because we're talking about the still center of balance today, and this 4 that's coming forward, and this equilateral energy, which is just really that peace within, being at peace with the world, being at peace with your life and where you've been and where you're going, and being at peace with that. And really is that now place. Is it really being in the now, in the moment, right now, and trusting yourself. And we'll talk a little bit about that here in a second. That was kind of the last show I did a couple weeks ago, was all about the trust. Because I know that's something that's been coming up for me, is trusting, even when things look crazy and wild and you're like, oh my God, and then you continue to trust, and then things shift, because things are always moving, things are always changing, always shifting. So if we don't lock ourselves into something that's not really staying around forever, and just know that it will pass. There'll be a time it will pass, and we get the opportunity to work through our stuff when that happens, right? And that's the beauty of it. So anyways, the heart chakra traditionally would be that fourth chakra. And then as we move into the ascension work, and as we stabilize the lower chakras, those first 3 chakras, we were able to establish that, or even not even establish, but return back to that which we are, which is that peace, love, and empowerment, right? Peace, love, and joy. Peace, love, and joy, first, second, and third chakra in the traditional sense. And as we are able to return to that state and stabilize in that, and that's kind of our foundation for our body, to keep the body going and in that state of peace, love, and joy, so the body's happy. And then we come up to the heart, and once we do that, we are in that truly the root of the ascended state, and this becomes the new root, right? And the new root basically is that opener. It's that fuel which delivers us to the truth and our intuition, that intuition center, and then up to the wisdom, and then it's infinite from there. So the heart's so important. The heart is that gateway, and it's obviously, to me, it's just really it's almost like a safeguard. Like you can't enter those realms unless you're in the space of love, which is just amazing, isn't it? So it's great. It's really that doorway. It really is a doorway. And so the heart chakra, really in full sense of a chakra, and really the sense of love, and it's all about the unconditional love for self and global community love, and as well as partnership love or children. And so we have this self-love. You could think of it as like a triangle or a pyramid. It's more fun, than a triangle. You have the self-love on one side, and then you have the partnership love, or the partnership could be the same as your partner as an actual physical body, a beloved, or even your soul energy, and then the global community. So you have this pyramid that has these three sides, and you have that self-love and the partnership love, and which is with children. It can be children, and then the global community, and really being in that full trinity. It's a trinity of that love experience. And so as I'm talking about this, I wanted to do just a little bit of a visualization for the heart temple, and it just really activates that full energy. Because what happens a lot of times, as working with clients and working with myself as an evasive medical intuitive, a lot of us have energy on one side or the other, or we don't have the base. Let's say you love others, and you have all this energy and love for others, and then you have not so much love for yourself, or you're just completely fed up with the world. You just have no love for the world. You screw them, whatever you go through, it's not worth, So anyways, there's always an energy. I mean, I shouldn't say always, but most of the time, there's an energy of imbalance. And so if we can bring that pyramid into balance and have that balance of the self-love, the partnership love, and the global community love, then we have that full emanating trinity of origination pyramid energy. There's really a full energy of the heart chakra, really in balance in its true empowered form. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to check the time here, how we're doing. Okay, so I would like to do a little visualization today, and maybe just take a few deep breaths with me here, and then I'm going to do what's called the heart temple visualization, and I'm just going to take us on a little journey of the heart. And so if you want to close your eyes, that's always a good thing to do, bring us into that inner state. So if you want to go ahead and just take in a few breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, let's go ahead and start that. And closing your eyes is a good thing too. And let's go ahead and go in. So let's do one more. So third one, just to complete that trinity, because we are going to enter into that temple of the heart, which is a trinity. Oh yeah. And as you're here, noticing your breath, maybe place a hand on your heart. It's always a good thing to do. And feeling that heart chakra and the love that you're made of, and know how beautiful you are, and that heart chakra is just filled with love, and the energy of the soul is right there with you. And as we enter into this heart temple, imagine a triangle. Imagine a triangle in the center of your chest, a sacred temple of divine light. A beautiful triangle in the center of your chest. A sacred temple of divine light. See it there? And it has a kind of a base footing. At the base of the triangle, you're going to notice the global community of love right at the base there. And on one side, you're going to have the self-love. And the other footing, the love for others. And you're going to notice at the bottom of the triangle, there's this beautiful global energy of all the other beings that are here with us, seeing them in that love and light. And at the top of the beacon of the universal light, that offers healing love to that global community. And first, see each side and breathe light into the foundation. I love myself. I am enough. I accept love from others. And this is that self-love piece, accepting ourselves. I love myself. You can say these out loud. I love myself. I am enough. I accept love from others. And that beautiful self-love. I trust myself with others. I am safe to share my love with others. I share my love and I trust with my partner. Imagine that this triangle is filling with love and light, and the capstone begins to glow and beams unconditional love to all beings. See that capstone just glowing and beaming with unconditional love to all beings, a beacon of love and light going across the whole planet and beyond to all beings that come from the one love and one light. Feel this illuminated triangle in the center of your chest glowing brightly. Feel this, see this, know this. This triangle is fully illuminated with the love of all, the love for all, and the self, and the partners, and the children, and global community and beyond. Feel this beautiful, beautiful temple of the heart, temple of love and light, and know that that is you. Feel the love you are made of. Feel this energy of love that you are made of and everything is made of. And know that you are one with all of that. Maybe take a nice deep breath. All right. How was that for you? Wow, I feel it. I know you're feeling it. And so there we are. Temple of the heart. It's a balanced energy. And now notice how balanced you are. It's like that equilateral cross. It's in full balance. Perfect still center of balance. That's what you are. Yeah, and so just finishing up a little bit here and letting you come back and finding your breath and your body. And so may you carry that with you always. That great balance of love. And just slowly moving back into the topic and an enhancement to the surrendering to love. Really, you can do this anytime. Hand on heart, know that triangle is right there and it's all in balance. And just release and melt into that energy of the temple of the heart. Beautiful triangle, pyramid, always available to you. And as we were talking today about the heart chakra, the love, the unconditional love, and surrender, because it is a surrender. And I know a lot of people think of like surrender of like, I give up, or, the old density sense of surrender, but really it's just a melting into you, the love that you are. And my favorite teachings come, of course, from the Self-ascension, and thank you to Sri Ramka and Master Lady Kira Ra for bringing so much amazing energy forward. And in the 4 steps of self-ascension, these are the pillars of self-ascension. There are 4, working with this still center of balance again, right? That equilateral cross. Surrender is one of those. Surrender is a big deal. Surrender, right? And there's 4 of them, and you have the surrender, you have the unconditional love, the release of judgment is the 3rd, and be in union is the 4th. So they all go together, and they're always working with each other. And it's like you really have to have all of them, because releasing judgment's huge, because if we're judging all the time, then we're really not in that heart space, really, right? And it takes practice, and it's okay if we do it, because it's just been learned behavior. We've been in a world of densified, rigid constructs, and now we're releasing all that. And so it takes a little time to relax from the judgment, right? And the mind just loves to go on those journeys, right? Where it just wants to just do things with it. And so you just got to love yourself through it. Come back to that self-acceptance, right? And that's just, we're in school, we're in earth school, and we're working through the energies and releasing and wow, I bow before you and your courage to do that. It takes a lot of practice, takes a lot of focus, takes a lot of commitment. It's a big deal. And releasing judgment's huge. And if we do that, then we're really surrendering, aren't we? Because we're releasing the judgment and we're surrendering. And then the other one is unconditional love. So we're in that unconditional love as we surrender, because that is another surrender. And be in union. Being in union is basically being at one with all that is, being in your union of your body and your soul, and just being in alignment with the one energy, the oneness of everything. And so, yeah, the 4 steps of self-ascension is always a fun one to write down, and have it in front of you. I often look at it, and it's also in the Sacred Union book, to get into it more in that book. It's just that unconditional love, and and that surrender. Surrender is such a big one, and be in union, and then release that judgment. And that really delivers us to the full capacity of our heart, and the heart fully opens, and that energy, that almost like a rocket fuel, an energetic engine, and then delivers us up to the truth, and sometimes you get a little stuff in here you got to work through, right? And the truth chakra, that communication area, it's kind of that bottleneck, right? Yeah. And then you come up into your vision, right into your vision. And so you can have your manifestations and your creations, and then you put it into the visualization, which is kind of like a projector that projects it out to manifest reality. And then in your wisdom, up here in the exploded crown, and the wisdom and expansion, and so much more. And then it's blast off time, right? It's just launch that exploded crown. You're launching out into the Essene energy, and the Elohimian energy, and that golden ray, and the violet ray, and that crystalline ray, and infinite. Just goes for infinite. So yeah, talking about the chakra again, and that heart space. Going to bring up the 3rd chakra a little bit, because the 3rd chakra has definitely been affected by the last forever, but especially the last couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, been coming up a lot. That's why I did a show a little bit on the 3rd chakra. And just the 3rd chakra is just really that place it's really the place of that physical meeting the spiritual. It's an intersection. It's an intersection of the physical and the spiritual. You got this heart chakra here, which is that root to the ascension, and then you have this 3rd chakra. So they're right there. But it's important, really important, to have that 3rd chakra in balance, and that's part of the releasing of the judgment, right? Releasing the judgment, and it's a surrender, yeah. And so with the 3rd chakra often wants to control, right? It wants the power, and it's part of what drives us through these places of especially in the density world where it's just that driver. It's that, the will, the force that moves forward, and so there's a lot of physical there. It's the third chakra is all about the muscular system, and in the muscular system, those are that's the powerhouses of moving a body into, time and space, in this so-called, physical manifest reality, and so the third chakra is really important to have in balance. And if we're having trouble, working with the energies that are around the fear, the things that are being projected, our own insecurities and things like that, then a lot of, things come up and we have stomach problems and we're having trouble digesting our lives, and so those are some of the things that's come up for me in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and working with it and holding that area, even just 2 hands on that area and just sending the love from your heart into that area and just saying, I love you so much. It's okay. And so it's really this trust zone, the third chakra is all about trusting yourself and your ability to move into the world and bringing your creative gifts into the world, bringing them out into the world and trusting that you are enough, you're enough. You're more than enough. And it's one of those chakras that it wants to control. And because based on, past experiences, usually when we're young and we feel like we have to control, right? We have, rather than this, as we move into the new paradigms and as we are able to relax some of that and then trust and manifest and be in the loving space, and that's when the miracles happen. That's when things unfold, and that's when things expand, expand, rather than contract with the old paradigm where everything's just holding on tight, shoulders high, I'm holding on for life here, white knuckling the roller coaster, whoa, so a trust, of course the heart always helps us activate trust too, and just knowing that we are made of love. We are living in a co-created reality that is made of love, and it's so loving that it allows everything to happen. Anything can happen. It's the free will zone, and that's how loving it is, because it's like the energy of oneness, the creation, the goddess, God of all that is. It's just that almost that divine intelligence needs to allow so that all individuated beings can have whatever experience they need to have, right? So trusting is a big deal. Trusting that you were meant to be here, right? I trust my gifts, whatever I have been given, and sometimes we don't know what that is, and that's what doing the work, doing the meditations, going within, finding out what it is, and what we are and what we're not. It's okay. We don't have to be everything, and a lot of us try, to try to be everything and do everything perfectly. And I've been one of those for sure, just trying to do everything so-called right and perfect and whatever else. So it's about trusting who you are and what you've been given, and what you're not, and being okay with that. And so its ability to really have the capacity to create or manifest our gifts, to offer that to the world. And once again, it's about the muscular system. It's about being able to trust our bodies to be in the world and to move forward and to keep going and to keep going and going. And then if you have the heart balance with that, wow, anything can happen. I call it's basically trusting love, or in the empowered heart, right? I think in the Hindi traditions, they call it the well of the heart. It's kind of that area that gives that energy, that ability to give some of that fuel for the heart to move forward, and you have this beautiful, unconditional, loving space of the heart, and then you have this driver that helps you drive through it all, that gives you that boost to move through. And so it's like the well of the heart. It's like that upper third chakra, that ascended third chakra, that higher aspect in the third chakra, which is empowerment, right? Empowerment, moving out of the world, doing it from a loving space. But that's the empowerment, rather than the power, the power over, the disempowerment, and so there, the third chakra, really important. Get that really in a space of trust. Trust the love that you are, basically, and practice, and so talking about a little bit about the third chakra, and I like to try and give a little practice for each thing. We did a visualization for the heart today, And so with the third chakra, it's about trust and empowerment. There's some different things we can do to really help that area. One of them is that the divine lives through me. The divine lives life through me. Our gifts are not just reflections of you. Your gifts are from the divine. They are intended to be shared, right? And that's what I was just talking about, the gifts. And as you remove your personality from the picture and fully embrace the divine working through you, you can journal. There's things you can do. You can journal. What are my gifts? There's a great way to bring forward some of the gifts if you're not sure what they are, and maybe you're disengaging from an old way of being, and now you're reinventing or reigniting who you truly are. Maybe, you could do a little journeying. Like, what are journaling, not journeying, journeying through journaling, right? It's a JJ, journaling to journeying. So these things you can do in the journaling exercise that will be that reflection back to you, as a pen to paper, as Sri always says, Sri Ramka, pen to paper, and let it reflect back to you. It's almost like saying it out loud, writing it down, hearing it. You get it in these different reflections, and it's more likely to stick, or bring forward whatever it is. So what are my gifts is a great thing to do in the journaling exercises. What are my gifts? And let that come forward. Who can I help, right? Who can I help? Because your creative gifts can help others. And bring that forward. And how do I deploy my creative gifts to serve? And this is really important, because when we're being in our gifts and being who we are and helping others, that is really a powerful energy that is nothing but sending you higher and higher into greater, amazing vibrations, and expansion. Beautiful. They see it. Another one would be, what sort of return would feel balanced and satisfying for me to serve for my wholeness? It's important that we give and receive and balance. This is huge. Give and receive and balance. Many just give, and it's great, but also you've got to receive in order to balance, because often those who give, often I've seen it time and time again where it's just, they get hurt. It's important to fill ourselves back up as well. So giving and receiving and balancing, giving and receiving and balance. And that third chakra, trust, just trusting. I love you. And if you're feeling that energy of, the stomach and just the turning of all the energy that's in the world, maybe just put a left hand out, and let it just fill with love and light. Just see a beautiful white light coming from the divine, and just letting it fill your left hand, taking your right hand, putting it right at the abdomen there, right below the rib cage, and just letting that fill with as much light as possible, and know that it's infinite energy that's coming into that hand, and just letting that light come all the way through into that hand, down your arm, up to your shoulders, across the neck, and down into your right shoulder, and all the way down to the hand that is touching your third chakra. And just allow that divine light to come down, come in, and come all the way through into your right hand, and just fill that chakra with the love and light that is available to you at all times. And it really helps. And I was having some stomach trouble last week, just working through things, adjusting to a new environment, a lot of things, a lot of things. And so just letting that light come in and fill it, that really helps. It really can dissolve a lot of the energy that is there, and just fill it up. And don't forget about the container practice. You can find it at shriandkira.com. They have the container practice over there. Do the container practice if you're feeling a lot of energies in the chakras, and then you can fill it up with light. That's a great thing to do, is you do the container practice and letting it go, right? And then once that void is there for the energy that no longer is serving you, then you fill it up with the light, right? And then it has something to fill back up on. And so, there it is. There's the third chakra. And so I'm just going to go ahead and got a few more minutes here. I think we got enough time for one last little visualization. I'm just going to say namaste, much love and divine grace to all of you on your journey. May it be amazingly loving and prosperous and abundant and all of it. And so we're going to finish with a little visualization with an aura expansion. We're going to allow that expansion to happen, and it'll help us just be in that balance once again. All right, namaste. And you've been listening to the journey. I'm Corey, and you're listening on Oneness Talk Radio. And we're going to go ahead and close your eyes. Maybe put a hand to your heart. Feel the love that you're made of. Take in a deep breath. So, close your eyes if it's safe for you. Do that. All right. And now you're just going to notice this auric field around you. It's just kind of like this big bubble that's around you and surrounding your body, the auric field, and just see it there. Whatever color you notice is fine. If you don't see one, that's okay too. And just notice this bubble around you. Notice the aura or the attractor field. And just allow that to start expanding. Just allow it to get bigger in every direction. Notice it as it expands out beyond the body, beyond the area that you're sitting in. Let that expand out. In the room you're in or wherever you could be outside, I don't know. Go ahead and just let it expand out beyond the place where you're sitting, beyond the building you're in maybe, or the car you're in, or wherever you're at. Just allow that to expand and let it keep going. Just let it grow, let it expand, let it stretch, because this is aura stretching we're doing now. We're going to stretch our energy out beyond. We're going beyond the area we live in, maybe the continent you live on. Just let that expand out. Continue that. We're going beyond the earth, continuing out, expanding out, beyond. Feel that and notice beyond the planets in our solar system. You're just stretching, you're growing, the energy is moving, and notice how good that feels. Notice how the energy stretches, and you're going beyond the planets, the solar system. Now you're expanding out into the galaxy, where there's endless stars and planets, and you're just going by all that energy. All your energy is just moving through and past all these objects. Feel that you're expanding out beyond the galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy. We're even beyond that. Our bubble is beyond that. It's still going. We're still expanding out. We're still expanding out, way out to the outer reaches of the universe, of the known universe. There you are, way out there beyond. Your energy is expanding and flowing. And just let your energy just touch the outer reaches of the space and the universe. And just allow that, feel that. And as you feel that, just sit in that and bathe in that for a moment. And as we do that, we're going to go ahead and slowly start bringing our energy back, letting that bubble come back in slowly from the outer reaches of the universe back to this Milky Way galaxy energy, and allowing that to come back in to our place in the galaxy, this solar system, our home. Allowing to come back in around the planet Earth, the Gaia experience. Look at how beautiful. Notice yourself, notice your planet, and allow that to come all the way back in to where you're from, or where you are right now, and let that energy come all the way back to you, to this body of form. Just allow it to sit maybe anywhere from 18 inches off your body to 3 feet. Just whatever feels right to you, but right closer to your body now. Oh yeah, there we are. Feel that. Notice that you are an infinite, endless energy of love and light. You are one, you are love, and you are loved beyond recognition of the mind. Take a deep breath and know that you're back close to your body and your energies right there. So, namaste and aloha.